It's been 21 minutes.
It has not been.
It has not. Because we said it starts at 10:15.
Are you happy we're here?
Hello, everyone.
We have chaotic neutral.
Hello.
We have neutral good. All the intros tonight.
Yeah.
So welcome to the don't you dare riot. You put those down. We are here for the final episode of More Pooh Talk season Deuce.
It's our final season ever. After this, we all go back into the same cave that Michael Bublé hides in until Christmas every year.
Yep. The More Pooh Talkatorium is shutting down temporarily. But
that way, all of us incredibly healthy people can go and continue to be healthy.
Yeah.
In the world of our imaginations.
This is really just a public group therapy session that we do weekly.
Right.
It is.
It's not healthy, but it's better than a therapist. Am I right?
Right.
This one's free.
Yeah. And they don't try to commit me, and I appreciate that as well.
Yeah. We start a podcast. That's what healthy people do.
It is, yeah. We have a lot of information to share.
Yeah.
And especially today because we have 8 goddamn projects to get through.
8 of them.
8 whole entire projects.
8 projects for a grand final round where the prompt was simply design an e-ticket for your favorite park.
And oh boy, was it very broad.
Maybe the really ticket was the friends we made along the way.
It was. That should have been my project. Just one sentence.
Just the friends we made along the way.
Just a list of all the contestants.
Yeah. Just everybody who's joined the boards in the past 10 years.
Just a link to WDW Magic. But we have a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. Dash wrote out a really nice behind-the-scenes thing for him, so we'll read his when we get to his project.
Well, we don't need to read it because he's right here.
No, Dash, just sit in silence during your when we talk about your project.
While we talk about it.
Yeah, we'll call you back in for the other ones.
Yeah. All right, get out of here, Dash.
All right. So, for my project, I did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutagen Madness.
Yeah.
So...
the other person viewing this is me.
So the first design stuff that I've done with this is that I first decided upon what park I wanted to work with. And my thoughts were either a Universal Studios Florida or Digital Kingdoms from one of the earlier stanzas. And I decided to go with Universal Studios Florida because of the fact that, for one, it gives like a more concrete spot where I can figure out, okay, what space can I work with here? And also, frankly, Universal Studios Florida is dearly in need of some major work around the park.
Is it? You think so?
Yeah.
It could use I think it's a perfect park. Jimmy Fallon really, really brings in...
He really ties it together.
Yeah, what it means to be a Universal.
No, here's my thing. Fast and Furious is right there, and you're getting rid of Revenge of the Mummy.
But why would Dash remove a perfect ride?
Right.
I'm replacing Revenge of the Mummy because at least TMNT fits the New York land.
And honestly, Revenge of the Mummy is pretty dated too.
Revenge of the Mummy is great. I will die on that.
It's a great ride. I definitely agree with Dash though that TMNT fits better within the area.
Yeah, and Brendan Fraser does not look like that anymore. So
I mean, he does. He's just fatter.
Older.
Oh.
If you like pulled his face back, he'd look like that.
Yeah, he's a little sadder. I think.
Yeah, that's
Has
fair.
anyone checked in on Brendan Fraser recently? Is he okay?
Yeah, he's on Doom Patrol. He's doing very well.
Oh, good.
He's really good.
He started to act and stuff again, which is nice to see.
Yeah. I miss Brendan Fraser.
I mean,
everyone shoot
see him
Brendan Fraser a message and
everyone
Fraser a message and make sure he's okay.
Everyone send him a message right now. Tell him that the more Pooh Talkers sent you.
Right.
But
People have no clue what it meant, but he might appreciate it.
As I was working on this ride, once I decided on the park and the IP, I then thought about what sort of ride system I wanted to deal with. And because TMNT is sort of a superhero-y style thing, I wanted to go with something with a bit of thrill to it. And I ended up eventually settling on the idea of a slot car dark ride, like Test Track or Radiator Springs Racers. And honestly, part of my thinking there is kind of the fact that there are so many classic TMNT toys that are vehicles. Like, everybody remembers the Turtle Van.
Yeah.
And that was sort of my major spark on going with the slot car dark ride setup. And once I settled on that, the ball kind of got rolling a bit quickly on the exact, like, plotting and story idea that I wanted to go with for this. So, yeah, as I mentioned, this would be replacing Revenge of the Mummy, and even like with the facade, the Museum of Antiquities facade, that would be gone. Now the facade would be the Channel 6 News building, along with a sloped walkway leading up to the entrance for the attraction building.
Yeah, and your ride system's a really interesting choice. Yeah, no, absolutely. Personally, I think the queue is a little too close to Spider-Man, and the first part at least, and you used pictures for Spider-Man, which I thought was funny.
It does heal a bit close to Spider-Man's queue, at least in that first bit.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start off with the idea of at least a more grounded sort of space as folks are sort of entering into the world of Ninja Turtles.
That's totally fair.
Yeah, and the news station seems like a solid approach for that. And it also makes a solid place to work in a good number of, like, Easter eggs for folks who are more familiar with Ninja Turtles while still staying relatively grounded.
That's totally fair. And you had one fatal flaw in your attraction. There was no Krang, and I think that's a crime.
I will say,
with a KR, I'll say.
I will say the other ride system I was considering was a Kuka arm coaster which if I did that, the plot would have involved the Technodrome, and the main villains for it would have been a team up of Shredder and Krang.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
That was the other idea I considered, but going with the slot car dark ride, I decided to hone in on Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady.
And I think those are still great. Those are still great choices, and they're super recognizable.
They've got great designs. They've got recognizable personalities, which also really helps for one of the big hurdles that I did bring up is that for your main ride experience, you can only have so many major named characters for your guests to keep track of.
Yeah. And Bebop and Rocksteady showed up in the second movie, right? The Michael Bay movie?
Oh, yeah. The second one finally gave us Bebop and Rocksteady on the big screen. And pretty much one of the only good parts of that movie was to see the Turtles fight Bebop and Rocksteady.
But I mean, at least like it's topical as well to have Bebop and Rocksteady is my point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely made sense.
I didn't even know they made a second Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. It's better than the first Michael Bay Turtles movie, but it's still not that good.
That sounds like every Michael Bay movie.
You could have just said it's still better than the first Michael Bay TMNT, and it would have been damned by faint praise.
Yeah, the first one really felt like a by committee sort of movie, whereas the second one just feels like an exceptionally stupid episode of the 87 cartoon.
Which, I mean, that's okay, I guess. You know?
Yeah. But so yeah, we start off with sort of the main news building area with the bullpen. Then guests actually head down a sloped walkway into the building's basement, heading to the lower floor of the show building. Which it's from there that they make their way through this underground tunnel that they find, leading us into a sewer dojo that's clearly been used by the Turtles, and where there's also a Master Splinter animatronic.
Yeah, that was a great choice as well.
Oh yeah, I wanted to use that as another spot to more directly get into the sort of like backstory info of the Turtles, which honestly I could have written like some Master Splinter dialogue here to get that point across a bit better, something that was brought up by the judges. But yeah, that seemed like a solid approach to go with for there.
And Tyler Perry was Baxter Stockman?
Yes, Tyler Perry was Baxter Stockman.
I hope he turns into Medea.
Yeah, he actually wasn't that bad as Baxter Stockman.
Oh, he's a good actor when he wants to be.
Oh
yeah, you ever seen him in Gone Girl?
Best part he was really good in Gone Girl. Yeah, he was really good in Gone Girl.
He was great in that movie.
Yeah. But no, that's back to the right. I just saw that on Wikipedia. I thought it was
funny. But so yeah, and with the ride system, as I said, it's the slot car dark ride, and I actually dabbled in trying out a bit of art, so I threw together this little design of the sewer cruiser.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that
ride vehicle.
I'm really glad that you did art. Cool. You were talking about that last week, and I'm really glad that you ended up going with it. Yeah, art's fun.
Oh, yeah, art is fun, but also challenging if you don't really do art normally.
That's what the problem that I always come into, is that it never looks like how I want it to, and then I don't do anything with it because I don't like how it looks.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to like force yourself. But your art came out really well. I think it was a really good first effort.
But so yeah, then we've got the actual ride experience. So yeah, first scene is us weaving through the sewer tunnels as Leonardo is giving a recap of our mission. And yeah, which eventually leads us to a ramp, bringing us up to the upper floor of the show building. Where, yeah, basically, where then our next scene, we find Bebop and Rocksteady talking to Shredder, basically confirming the plans that they're going to be dumping mutagen into the city's water systems to create a whole bunch of mutants. Unfortunately, they wind up getting alerted to our presence, so we try to sneak away, but in the next scene, Bebop and Rocksteady find us with their laser guns at the ready, and basically open fire on us as we hastily try to speed away. But we turn a corner where we find them charging through a wall and getting ready to take aim at us again, though the Turtles get the drop on them. And another thing that I'll factor in for my work in later projects is that apparently it was a bit unclear, like when characters are animatronics and when I actually have screen stuff. And I'll do a better job in the future of specifically noting when stuff is screens, because a lot of the characters for this attraction are animatronics, but for some of the more acrobatic or active moments, like the Turtles dropping in, that is a screen scene.
Yeah, it's always like a weird like line to walk, like to explain effects and not explain effects. No.
Yeah.
I always try to be safe by explaining the effects that I think people will think are unrealistic.
Because if you do it wrong, it like totally breaks up the flow of the presentation.
Yeah, usually I end up putting them at the end. Or sometimes like after the scene I have like a little like addendum, and that usually tends to be fine. But as long as like you clearly separate it from the ride description, so it doesn't like take you out of it, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Even if it's in the middle of the ride description, just like a little italicized paragraph, I think is okay.
Oh, yeah. And, well, yeah, when we pass that scene, we get to move through, like, the turtles battling, like, some foot ninjas and Bebop and Rocksteady before leading into one of those screen scenes that I mentioned, where we pass by the exterior of a building where through the windows, we see Michelangelo and Raphael take down Bebop and Rocksteady. We pass by there through another scene where Leonardo says that they still need to defeat Shredder. Donatello's been tracking activities to the central drain depository, which leads us into our big Shredder scene for it. And yeah, this was a scene where I actually tried to do some art, but I just really couldn't get it looking as well as I wanted. So to at least give some sort of visual reference, at least for Shredder, and like him like piloting the mutagen disperser, I basically grabbed this screenshot from the Turtles in Time video game.
Yeah, whatever works. I mean, you conveyed it well enough through the text, and I think that's fine too. Like, as long as you're describing everything well enough, I don't think you necessarily need art. It just kind of breaks up the text. But that's just me, and some people don't agree with that.
And
you have a giant wall of text with nothing breaking it up.
That's what we used to do back in the day. And now all you kids need art because God forbid you read a page of text. You got your goddamn magazines and your YouTube.
So yeah, then that leads us into sort of the big sort of escape scene that's essentially the big speed sequence of these sort of slot car dark rides.
Sorry, finish what you're saying.
Yeah, after that, we have one last scene of the Ninja Turtles basically thanking us for helping them out with this mission. And then we head on to the unloading, where we head down another brick-walled tunnel into the post-ride gift shop, second time around.
Yeah, I forget who said that, but I do agree that the speed section should have been a little longer.
Yeah, part of that is, once again, my challenges with actually, like, drawing art. I wasn't sure how much to draw out for the speed portion.
No, that's totally fair. And Pi, I too remember standing on a cliffside and showing people my etchings of the brand new Fantasyland Dark Ride.
Yeah. But
those days are long.
But yeah, we've got our gift shop, which I threw in the gift shop mention just because basically all of Universal's attractions in that particular footprint have always had some sort of shop to go with them.
I mean, it's Universal.
Yeah. Confrontation had Safari Outfitters. Revenge of the Mummy has Sahara Traders. And yeah, I ended up doing a bit of a deep cut in going with Second Time Around, which is an actual recurring store in the TMNT franchise.
And it worked really well. And it was a good grab.
Oh yeah, and went with the design from the 1990 live action film for it, just because I kind of felt that particular look of Second Time Around has a bit more character to it.
That's totally fair. Yeah, no, this was a really great project. I really enjoyed it. I think TMNT was a super unique choice, and I think you did it really well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I mean, looking back on it now, I can definitely see where I could have tweaked stuff around or like expanded on it, like the judges said. But still, ultimately, I really enjoyed working on that project.
That always happens. We always have regrets. Mickey fan, can you pull up the video that I have for mine too? Because I really like it.
Where's the video?
It's right in my post.
Oh, now I gotta go back and find that.
It's right above the words "the time machine."
Just so everyone knows, Mickey fan lost a game of Not It, so that's why he has to. That's why he has to screen share. We have
very scientific methods here at More Pooh Talk.
We do.
Yeah, it's incredibly. It really is a well-oiled machine.
It is, yeah.
It is. We're doing a good job here.
We just push these out. We're our own production line of podcasting, really.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. That looks like a photo. So this is the time machine. I like this video too much.
I thought it was a photo.
I don't know why it doesn't have the play thing in the middle. I really like this video. This is my teaser. Yeah, how do you get dark mode on WDW Manager?
You go down to the very bottom and you do dark mode.
Oh, is there a thing
really
about it?
Believe in yourself.
Oh, I found it. Dark mode. Wow, it's like I'm reading this at night. It's like all the lights are off.
Look,
except for the bright light of creativity.
If you are an individual who doesn't use any dark mode that isn't available to you, I don't trust you.
You're a sociopath. Yeah, I agree.
And that's
so. This is my
for the night.
So this is my super extra teaser, where I for some reason did a William McKinley speech, but I had a lot of fun making it. And then it sets up the time machine. But we can go to the presentation now. I just like this too much, and no one mentioned it, so I thought I'd force you all to watch it.
Name one other presentation that that included William McKinley. You know,
there are none. I'm pretty sure I'm the first person to bring William McKinley into the Imagineering universe.
Yeah.
And
now that he's here, I think we should really get more use out of him.
I agree. No one else would have had the forethought to bring him in, but now that he's here, I think he's going to stick around.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Apprentice season 8. I want him to replace Walt Disney and
just the ghost of William McKinley. He comes back. He's like, "You need to save the theme park universe."
Figment gets kidnapped again, and it's just like, well, now everyone's dead. Who's gonna save him? William McKinley.
Someone needs to put a leash on Figment at this point, because if I see him get kidnapped again, I'm going to scream.
Somebody needs to put a leash on William McKinley, honestly, if we're on that. We're talking about that. Anyway, here's my project. It's the time machine. It was pretty cool. So this went through a lot of development hell. For the longest time, I really wanted to do something original because I knew that everyone else was going to do IPs. And that was mostly true. So initially, I was trying to do like a weird like Tesla-ish dark ride. It was supposed to be like trackless and like it was a mess. It was becoming a lot. And as I developed it more, I realized that I had a walkthrough and not an e-ticket. So I kind of defaulted back to this idea, which is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. And I think it worked out really well. I had a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, so this is for Discovery Bay, which is a park I've been trying to get off the ground for like 4 years. So I just kind of did it. It was a cool time. This is my little forward. I don't really have anything to say about it.
I think we should all forwards in our.
Yeah, I mean, well, I wanted to do this instead of having like a weird post at the end with like, "Hey guys, this was cool," because like, I don't know. I figured I could get a little pretentious at the start of my project and have like a whole like deconstruction of my experiences with the season. But since I did an original park that I hadn't posted yet, I had to do backstory too. So I'll go more in depth with it when I actually do. Just when I actually make Discovery Bay. But for the basic backstory, basically, and again, this is super extra. The Civil War went about 10 years longer than it actually did in real life, which created like an arms boom, which pushed science and technology forward about 20 years from how it was in real life. So that's my explanation for why there's automobiles and airplanes in 1900, and like proper film and stuff like that. So basically, Discovery Bay is like a city where like the members of C like work and do scientific stuff, and they put on like an exposition for 1900. That's kind of the setup for the park, that guests are going to the park for the exposition and to see Discovery Bay. With the time machine being like the big center.
I appreciate the Camellia Falco goal.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention her because I kind of changed the backstory for C a little bit, where C was dormant until Jason Chandler revived it. And I did that because in Big Thunder Mountain... Yeah, no, I really like her, but I did that because in Big Thunder Mountain, they say that he's a founding member of C, but that doesn't make sense with anything else that they've like ever done for C. So I tried to fix that a little bit, and it made sense to have to like mention Camellia Falco as part of the old C before it went dormant. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. I used the St. Louis World's Fair as like the aesthetic inspiration for the exposition field for Discovery Bay. This is also the first park layout I've done for Discovery Bay, so it's a nice visualization. There are 2 lands that are in the actual Discovery Bay that I didn't put here because they weren't necessary. One of them's an expansion, the other one's a hotel. But yeah, so this was sort of my elevator pitch for Discovery Bay as well as my final project. And I'm glad that everyone seemed to like it.
But not quite enough.
It was almost enough.
They all seemed to like it, just marginally less than you wanted them to.
Hey, story of my life.
We're breaking out the salt and lemon now.
But yeah, these are attractions that are gonna actually be in Discovery Bay. I didn't want to. I have a full attraction list for the whole park, but I didn't find it necessary to put that in there. Q is literally just a place for me to put in a bunch of references that are pointless because I'm extra. Which is why we have the like the Journey to the Center of the Earth dinosaurs and King Solomon's Mines treasure, and a weird Umtundu reference from Disney Sea's Tower of Terror. Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about the queue. It was fun. It was a good time. Pi, I'm going to once I like actually post the park because it's going to be part of the park. I don't think that list is going to change. So soon you'll see it. But yeah, if you want to move on to the ride, we're almost there. And honestly, I'm already kind of working on a second draft of this, so I think a lot of this is going to change, including the ride vehicles. I wanted to design my own ride vehicles because I really didn't want to pull from the movie, but I was running out of time, and I didn't want to force myself to design something when I really need to finish the project. So I just ended up using the design from the movie. And I think it looks good. I think it worked out well.
I think that the time machine, the design of it, just makes for an inherently cool ride vehicle.
Oh, I agree. I think the George Pal design was really, really good. But I wanted to try to do something different, more just to like set it apart from that, since it's its own thing. I have to look into more like resources for more inspiration, but I would like to properly design one. For the actual ride, a lot of it is taken directly from the book, which is why we have weird stuff like the giant crabs at the end.
Giant crabs should be in every ride. So don't even
You're right.
Yeah,
I agree.
I always kind of forget about the giant crabs.
Yeah, that's why it kind of gets weird at the end, and I think people were confused about that, but it's literally taken from the book.
I want to write some high fantasy or like sci-fi and just like throw random crabs, just giant
instead of dragons, it's giant crabs.
Yes, Game of Thrones, but with crabs.
Skyrim with king crabs.
Dragonheart.
I mean, like, to be fair, giant crabs would just be kind of a cool. Giant crabs would just be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I love the scene that in the Time Machine, the book, where it's like blood red sand and like a super dim sun, and the only life living on Earth in this like weird desert are these giant crabs, because everything else either like died or like evolved out. But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun doing this. I really liked starting with like the dawn of time and then going to the end of time as well. I think that was a good bookend for the attraction. The only scenes that really follow the book are the future scene with the Morlocks and the crab scene. The anachronistic scene is in the book, though I did take that from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, sort of, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun working with it. I purposely wanted to use feathered dinosaurs because I thought that would set it apart more.
Yes.
And it's a really cool visual. Yeah. It's a visual that no one ever does anything with, and I thought it would be really cool.
Right, imagine doing scientifically accurate dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's kind of what, like, I want to have that expectation with the lizard dinosaur in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
Because you walk in, you're like, oh, that's a dinosaur, and then it says that it's from the center of the Earth, and then you go into the ride and you actually go back in time, and it's these weird feathered dinosaurs. I thought that would set up and subvert an expectation that I thought would be really cool.
I like that evolutionary concept that in the center of the Earth they didn't develop feathers.
Yeah. Well, like, so what I was sort of implying is that they're totally different species.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we think they're dinosaurs, but I mean, they technically are, but they're like a totally separate evolutionary chain.
I want to read a fictional evolutionary biology study.
I'll write one just for you.
Please do.
Yeah, and then the rest of it, there's a lot that I would do different. I think Doug had a really, really fantastic idea by having the rides separate into different time periods. But I was kind of trying to keep it separate, keep it together. I'm sorry, I'm more linear purposely. Mm-hmm. But that's something I'm absolutely going to address in the second draft is different time periods. And I already sort of have an outline for that. So I think it'll be really cool. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. I think it came out really well. There's a lot that I would change about it, but I still really enjoyed the final product, and I'm glad that the judges enjoyed it too. Yeah, I don't have too much to say, but hopefully this shows a little bit of what I wanted to. Yeah, there they are. Hopefully this shows a little bit of what I wanted to do with what I want to do with Discovery Bay once I actually finish it. So I've talked to you guys privately about some of my ideas for it. I think they're all.
Well, I hope that you do carry some of those original ideas over for Discovery Bay, because they were really cool.
Oh yeah, no, everything I talked to you about when we were talking like a month or two ago, that's staying. I just need to work it out. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Like super quickly, like There's going to be a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang dark ride. That's going to be my weird poll. That's like one of the few like movie
that's
IPs.
A very weird poll.
It's because I have like a whole like aviation land, and I thought it'd be really cool to have like a proper like flight coaster, and then like a children's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang dark ride. I want to have like a themed restaurant themed to like an occultist club. The harbor is going to be themed to Merryweather Pleasure. There's going to be like clubs and nightlife stuff as well as a few rides.
Makes sense.
So there's a lot of weird shit. But I took there's a few pulls from Disney's America, like a steel mill ride, things like that. Museum of the Weird is a big ride that's going to be in the entry land. There's another land that's actually not in this project. That's like a transitional land. So I want the parking lot to be totally separated from the park. So you walk in through a cave and take like a funicular railroad, I think they're called, down into the park proper. So it's like totally separated and feels like a different world. And that's why the hotel is attached to the park the way it is as well, to keep it more separated. But this is basically just me being super extra with the theme park. So hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, well, it sounds like what you have planned for it is sounding really interesting, and this attraction that you've written is such a really good primer for it.
Yeah, thank you. I think this was like I told you before we went on. I think this finally gave me a place to start this project, because I had so much that I wanted to talk about that I didn't know where to begin. So I think now that I've finally done something for it, I have a place to start. So, yeah, hopefully by the end of the summer, I can have something I can post on the forum. But this will be my little pet project.
All right, and here's the winning project.
Yeah. Before we get into it, I have some design notes from Pi. Okay, so Pi, he almost did an Over the Garden Wall log film or a non-IP action comedy horror ride inspired by Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Stranger Things. Over the Garden Wall would have been amazing.
Yeah, it absolutely would have.
Yeah, like Over the Garden Wall.
100% born Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows.
It's my all-time favorite anime TV show.
It's so good. I used to watch it every fall for the longest time.
Good, great. I get it. Good, great. It's not for me.
I think Five Nights at Freddy's. Sorry, that's my heater. Relax. Everything runs on a 3-hour timer here. I hate it. I think Five Nights at Freddy's was the correct choice. But I still really would have loved to see Over the Garden Wall. Then he decided that it was a personal final project. I'm going to be super self-indulgent with a correct choice and go with a niche interest. Self-indulgent nature inspired the Zack Snyder joke at the start and the 4:3 aspect ratio for the slides. Everything should be presented in 4:3, frankly. Hopefully we see that change in the future.
Really, to just keep it packed with the creative vision.
Yes, I agree. Actually, for the silent film, I was trying to get it in 4:3 because that's what they were showing in, but I couldn't figure out how to change the aspect ratio in Final Cut.
Only the silent film. I think that would have really benefited it.
We wouldn't have had so many music videos, but we would have had a really weird section where Aquaman is just staring silently at the sea. With no context. So next point. I know FNAF can have a negative reputation due to the weird storytelling and fan base and all. And I know that a lot of people are more familiar with the first 2 to 3 games, and I don't know the more comedic sci-fi elements the sci-fi elements it has started to focus on as the games go on, while still being spooky. So I had to write with the audience in mind, expecting most, if not all, the judges to either not know much about it or go into it thinking poorly of the franchise. Totally fair. I'm glad you did it. I had the same preconceptions. Fourth point. Originally had more sections in the write-up or longer sections for the rest of the mini-land, explaining how the mini-land will be set up as an extension of World Expo, changes to backstage areas to fit the ride, technical info behind effects, promotional events, more narration, more queue details, etc. But cut things for the sake of a tighter, more focused project. Again, makes total sense. I know it's self-indulgent, but that's another really weird line to walk, where we have to be careful to not have like 80,000 pages just talking about like infrastructure. And as much as I like it, there's only so much you can read. Next point, originally had more sections in the write-up. Sorry, that was the same one. Wanted to actually make a tie-in game using the FNAF 1 template I used for FNAF Figment. That's what he called it. Especially since, yeah, I know. Especially since I had done a playable tie-in game for the DC round. Thought it would be a fun callback, but that was a bit too much work for the time. I could have done it, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I was honestly surprised that you didn't have a game. But again, I totally understand why you didn't, and I think it was a good choice to not focus on that. Bottom line, I've wanted to do something scary all season and never got the chance to, and I wanted a project that felt like me, which means weird comedy, meta jokes, and a weird ride system that was more popular in the 80s and 90s. Again, I totally get that. I was kind of on the same wavelength. But no, this project was great. I thought you did really well. This was a well-deserved win.
Yeah, this was such a fantastic execution for something I wasn't quite expecting how this would play out, but this approach actually wound up being a really neat and well done take for this IP.
Yeah, no, I think this was done the best it could have been. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the concept as a whole. So let's run through it. I don't think it's that long, and it slides anyway. Yeah. Oh, really nice animations, too. I forgot that you did that. It's been a few days since I've read this. Yeah, I think the justification is totally fine. Universal does really weird shit. And yeah. I could definitely see them, like 10 years ago, I could have seen them doing like a scare zone or like a maze. And I'm honestly surprised that they didn't. But
well, give it 15 years and then they will.
Yeah.
When it's not relevant anymore. And
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that they haven't actually done a Five Nights at Freddy's house at Halloween Horror Nights yet.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
But I love the placement. Makes total sense to replace Simpsons Ride. The setup's really interesting too. I wouldn't expect like a Midway or something like this. But yeah, it's done really well.
It is. It is very. It is. You did a good job.
You're back with the self-indulgence.
Yeah. Yeah, with a bit of backstory here of the plot from the games.
Yeah, which again makes total sense because a lot of people don't know.
You, but
well, now I know there's a jump scare, so it's like, not a jump scare.
Honest, if you need a 20-page
warning,
if you need a 20-page backstory, then maybe let's not.
Yeah. Yeah, Pergron, close your eyes. We'll let you know when it's safe.
Okay.
You're good. We're good.
Are we past it?
No, it's later. Because I remember the jump scare got me.
Oh, you're talking about
really?
There's a jump scare in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I knew this was Five Nights at Freddy's, so I should have expected it, but it still got me. But it's also a testament to how well designed this pitch is that it got me.
Oh yeah. And I think that's the big thing that Pi did really well in this was the presentation. Not to downplay the project itself, but I think it was probably the most effective presentation we've seen all season. There it is, Pi. Avert your eyes. I'm sorry, Pergron. I was thinking
Pie,
about
don't you look?
And Pie, you look away. I don't want to frighten you. I don't want you to be startled.
I am gonna be honest. I hate jump scares.
I fucking
so like.
Big fan. Just close your eyes and just click.
Yeah. No, I literally have my laptop screen down and I'm just like going through it.
It's really not that bad. He's just saying hello.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Sure.
Like I say it every time. I fucking love horror movies. I cannot do jump scares.
That's fair.
I can watch the same movie over and over. If I know there's a jump scare, I will look away.
Yeah, and really interesting choice to go with the. I'm not sure if there's an actual term for this specific sort of high capacity dark ride setup. So for the moment, I'm just going to call it a bus dark ride.
That's fair. I don't think there is either, but it's something that Universal's been doing a lot of recently between Fast and the Furious and Kong.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of been in Universal's blood for a bit. What with Confrontation, Jaws, and Earthquake.
I mean, and the tram ride too, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are all things that first started out as segments on the tram ride.
Yeah. Makes total sense. Some of them are still there, like Earthquake.
Universal should just be one big tram ride.
It should be. You should get on a tram at the start, and they take you ride by ride. They drive up the queue. And then
it loads up onto the track.
Yeah, they go through. They load up onto oversized ride vehicles that fit the bus. They go through really big turnstiles, and it's if you have flash pass, it goes through the flash pass.
When Universal Hollywood opened, it was just a tram ride.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you get hungry, if one person decides they have to use the bathroom, the whole bus has to go.
The bus drives into an oversized bathroom.
Yeah. The floor just drops down. You're above a giant toilet.
It's just a hole. They're like, okay, here you are.
Here you are.
You guys are going to have to tell me how. You guys are going to have to tell me how far into this thing I am.
It's coming up.
Yeah, you're getting close to it. It's the next one here.
I mean, there's no sound, so it's okay.
Okay.
I don't think there's sound. There he is. There's our boy.
Yeah. There was a sound.
When you're reading this with sound, you do get the Freddy scream there.
Oh, is there the scream? I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the scream is. I'm not going to look it up.
Pergron, you can open your eyes. It's okay. We're past it. They're all on fire now.
Yeah, but that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? I don't like this franchise. I remember when the first game was real popular and everyone was all like, "Oh, you should check out this game," and I said, "Nope, not a chance, pal."
I used to like reading The Cringe. It's always fun.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about like all of the exact ways of how the fan base have taken the games. You gotta at least give credit to Scott Cawthon for managing to basically make himself an empire from this series. With that first game still being a solid exercise in tension.
Yeah, absolutely.
All just to lead up to jump scares.
I also just want to say, because we kind of went past it, I think Bendy is a great idea for Universal for Halloween Horror Nights as well.
Yeah, that was our season 5 Horror Nights house.
You did Bendy?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bendy's that old?
Yeah,
holy
that was
shit. 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
17 or 18, but
yeah.
Yeah, it was. I had never heard of it, and I still won't play it because I'm assuming it probably has jump scares.
It does. It's one of those games. I haven't played it either. It looks good.
Yeah, I love the aesthetic, but everyone was talking about it, and I would not play it. I worked on that whole project without ever knowing anything about it.
Oh yeah, the Bendy sequel is coming out soon. He also fired his entire team, I think, pretty recently. Move. Yeah, you're right. It is. It's like, I don't need you. I'll make it myself. Yeah. Now it's just some flash.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, that Five Nights at Freddy's project, really cool and definitely earned the win.
Yeah.
So Total kudos to you,
so.
Pi.
Cool. So we have theme park priests, and I will be right back.
Oh no, the person who's been doing all the talking is.
Wow. Shady.
What are we gonna do?
So we get to the one he doesn't like, and he just pisses out.
Yeah, but hey, we got ourselves an Animal Kingdom project here.
Yeah, we do, and it's not Dino Land or South America, so I can appreciate that. I'm real tired of seeing Dino Land in my Animal Kingdom projects. Do literally anything else, guys. This was the one I was the most excited for. I wonder if any of you guys, wonder if anyone would have expected that one. But yeah, I really like the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, we've been done.
You know what I don't like though? I don't really like the ocean. It's big. It's wet, and I'm allergic to it. It is. Yeah, I have a
there's too much scary shit in the ocean.
I have an allergy to the salt water, so it's not fun.
Really?
I do. It's like it's a microorganism in the salt water, but I simplify it, but I can't swim in the ocean. So anytime I get on a boat in the ocean, it worries me.
Ooh, sorry to hear that.
I go shark fishing once a year, and it's always the most terrifying thing.
Yeah, that's definitely worse than my own gripes about the ocean, which pretty much kind of amount to that one time I just happened to step into the ocean and wound up in that one strip of riptide that just yanked me out.
Oh my god! I just hate seaweed. That's my thing.
Yeah, no, that just totally put in an attitude of, nope, the ocean is fine. It can stay where it is. I don't need to go through it.
Jesus. That's why I prefer the Pacific, because there's less seaweed.
Yeah, you know what I prefer? I prefer staying dry.
It's fair. I think
I do like artificial salt water.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah,
I think Theme Park Priest sent us something. I'm just trying to find it.
You did. I got it right here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
But it's real unfortunate that I am allergic to salt water because I couldn't follow my dream of being a pirate.
It's true.
It's unfortunate.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, he says he plans to watch the first hour. He didn't make it through.
It's okay. Oh yeah, did he leave?
Yeah. We didn't say night priest. Damn it.
Good night, priest.
Good night, priest.
Bye-bye.
He says, the high amount of introductory material was to explain things to my blog audience who wouldn't understand the project without context. Also a former consultant, so I was going about the task of setting the scope for the project. I wonder what the consulted on what?
So he consulted.
He consulted. Yeah. On the originality practicality scale, my project was not high on originality. I guess that's the challenge of having an aquarium at the center. I tried to emphasize the original aspects, but knowing I was unlikely to win, don't put yourself
down.
No,
don't do that.
But my focus came to be designing the project to the closest as to how Disney would have designed it for Animal Kingdom in 2003. And he wanted to do something for his Bible World park, but since he hasn't started that yet, he did not want to go with that.
Hmm. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really good concept. It was definitely the most vanilla concept, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I mean, there's definitely a place.
Yeah, I appreciate the logic behind it.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Especially considering the note that I believe that this was in the sort of timeline where Epcot had the microverse, I believe, from a previous project or stanza.
Yeah, that was just the justification.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very glad that with the microverse existing, we still get to keep our living seas. And that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
Give me my ocean animals so I can look upon them without fearing for my life.
Well, if the glass cracks.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess can never go to an aquarium again.
Stay away from the glass, you'll be fine. Go to like a freshwater aquarium. I don't know if those exist. A freshwater exclusive aquarium.
That would be boring.
It's just river fish. It's just trout.
All the beauty of bass.
What was that?
Oh, we were talking about a freshwater aquarium.
Yeah, just dunking on bass.
Yeah. They deserve it. They're not shit.
They're invasive fish, and people pretend they're native and that we have to protect them. So,
I mean that just like us.
Yeah.
But
sorry,
that's the end of that.
Yeah. People would be upset if we got rid of the bass, but I'm all for getting rid of the bass.
Yeah, especially.
You can eat them all. I'm fine with that. That's how you want to do it, but let the native fish thrive. But yeah, this was fun. It was vanilla.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. It's just when everything else was very not vanilla, it's it's
one thing I will say is
at all. But
one thing I will say as well, just for the future, is don't reference old rides that you did.
Right.
Just to even if it's not original, just pretend that it's wholly original for the purposes of the project.
Right.
But I still appreciate it. I think it's really good.
And also, he did a lot of this for his blog viewers too.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's probably why that stuff was included.
No, I totally get that.
But yeah, I like the animal list.
Yeah, there they are.
Most of these animals aren't in captivity, and I don't know how well they'd survive, but
we'll find a way. Life finds a way.
Life does find a way.
They're just really high pressure tanks.
Right. If someone found a way to keep vampire squid, I would be greatly appreciative of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, if anybody could, it would probably be Disney.
It would be
Theme Park Priest. Yeah.
Yeah. Theme Park Priest, please tell me your plans to create pressurized tanks.
He just has them in his house.
And just PM me, because I've always wanted to open a zoo, but an aquarium would be fun too.
Yeah.
If you can figure that one out.
You just have to get everyone else to do the work for you.
Right.
Sorry guys, I'm allergic to salt water. I can't.
Right. Everybody, please do it for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Great Broadway Ride.
Yeah. Did Shannon send us anything? Oh, great job, Theme Park Priest. This is a really cool effort.
Oh yeah.
Nice work, Theme Park Priest.
I really enjoyed the ride. Did Shannon send us anything? I think she was.
I didn't get anything.
Stuff earlier.
Did she say anything in the chat? I think she said something.
She did, but it's not there anymore. Let me check on YouTube. She did, but I'm not sure if it was behind the scenes stuff or if she was just talking about it.
Right.
I have to find it. Yeah, there it is. She said that Disney has successful Broadway musicals, while Universal does not have the best track record with that, and Hollywood Studios needs reworking anyway, so she threw it in Hollywood Studios. And I think that's all we got. If she's still here, and if you want to throw anything in the chat while we're talking about it, by all means, we'll read it. But this is really cool. We did a Broadway ride. What was that? Season 11? Versailles Once Be an Imagineer? It's one of them. It was called The Great White Way. And it was a cool time. It's one of Tiki's favorite projects. So this reminded me of that. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I know absolutely nothing about Broadway, so...
So Broadway is a street in New York City where they have a lot of theaters, and they put on a lot of musicals and plays, really. It's a pretty cool place.
Yeah, it's also one of the big spots for live theater shows.
It is the big spot. There's that. There's the West End. There's also Ripley's Believe It or Not and a Madame Tussauds.
Oh, I've been to those.
So you have been to Broadway, see?
Apparently.
Oh, season 14 did one too. So there's been a couple Broadway rides.
But yeah, the only shows I know, I've talked about them before. I now know one more than I did last time we spoke.
Yeah.
I know The Lion King, obviously. I know the Frozen musical. I know Cats through the movie exclusively. So I don't know if that counts. But I didn't look that. I know Mamma Mia also exclusively through the movie, as well as Rent. And I know Wicked. I've never seen it, but I know the music. And I watched the SpongeBob musical on Amazon Prime because I was babysitting. And they wanted to watch it, so I paid $8 to watch the fucking SpongeBob musical.
I've heard really good things about it.
It was actually pretty good. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
I really like the Squidward song. That's mainly because I like They Might Be Giants.
The fact it was all written by different people is nuts.
Yeah, you'd think that wouldn't work, but it surprisingly did.
Yeah.
It's also like the one Jonathan Colton song that I don't think is like Nerd Pander. But I think it's good. But no, I really like this attraction. I would have liked more detail. A little bit, but you gotta do what you gotta do. It's not your fault.
Right. More detail. Everyone in the comments is making fun of how ambitious it is.
Yeah, one thing that she mentioned is that the scenes were supposed to switch out. So they're not like you don't see all the scenes, I believe. So it's justified the sheer amount of scenes. But yeah, like just little mentions of stuff like that would have been good. But I still really liked it. I think it was a good, very broad, obviously, but a good representation of Broadway.
This would be a great way to get me to learn about movies or about musicals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know I can't afford the tickets to see the real ones when those come back one day.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I bought tickets to Beetlejuice last year and it was like $380 for 2 tickets.
Jeez.
It's crazy.
My sister's a big old theater nerd, so they were supposed to go for their senior theater trip to see Beetlejuice and something else. I don't remember what it was.
Probably Hadestown.
Probably. Yeah. And they didn't get to go, and she was very upset.
I was really I bought tickets for Beetlejuice the day Broadway shut down.
Oh wow!
It was really sad. Like I was at the Museum of Natural History when they shut down Broadway.
I mean, you could be at worse places.
You're right.
Museum of Natural History is pretty legit.
It is. And it's also funny when they try to get you to pay full price for a ticket when you don't have to.
Yeah.
She told me the total was like $42, and I gave her a $10 bill. And she's like, $10? I'm like, yeah. It's just really funny. Yeah, we're good. It's okay.
Yeah, last time I went there, I just kept asking people where Ben Stiller was supposed to be.
Did you ask all the security guards?
Excuse me, have you seen Ben Stiller? Is Ben Stiller here?
I'm looking for Mickey Rooney. Is he still working here? Dick Van Dyke?
Yeah, Dick Van Dyke here? Has anyone seen Dick Van Dyke?
He's the night shift, right? Should I come back? Yeah.
Does Robin Williams come out now or is it later?
But yeah, Shannon, nice work with that project. Really solid idea for a really cool e-ticket.
Excuse me, when does Roosevelt come to life? Is that Sunset, right? I'm sorry, but that's the last one.
With the T-Rex now, or
I didn't see it on the program, but no, really great. I really like the ride. Yeah, it was really cool. I think Hollywood Studios is an interesting choice. I think that there's better places for it.
I agree.
Especially, she put it in the theater, right? Is it in the Chinese theater? Or am I totally wrong about that?
I don't recall.
It's okay. But if it was in the Chinese theater, I think it could have been moved to like the streets of America and just pretended they didn't tear them down.
Yeah. No Star Wars for you. Take Broadway.
Yeah. Well, no, you could say like, oh, it was like 2008, and we did this. Something like that could have worked really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was really good. So next we have Sharon Susan's Crash Bandicoot at Universal Studios Hollywood. And as you can see,
I
Crash
legitimately
Bandicoot...
just realized I was on mute.
Oh, you just realized?
Yes.
Did you think you were talking the whole time?
I was just talking into the ether. No one was responding to me. I was very confused for a minute.
I thought you were doing that purposefully. I was wondering why you weren't talking, but then I saw
I saw you on mute. I'm like, oh, you must be doing something. But you were also like keeping up with us.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That's
maybe
funny.
he's got like something going on, but he's still able to.
So do you have any thoughts about Broadway and or Robin Williams coming back to life as Teddy Roosevelt?
Broadway, I am decidedly neutral on the ride, but I do like Broadway.
Yeah.
The SpongeBob musical has no business being as good as it is.
Yeah. Totally fair.
And Robin Williams, I am now sad.
But it's okay. You can come back as Teddy Roosevelt.
Right. Only at night, though, when we can't.
He's just out. He's like, wait. Dawn approaches.
Is it daylight savings time, Lawrence? Do I have to wait?
Like 2 a.m. He's like, oh no. Nobody told me.
Daylight savings time, I think, when Teddy Roosevelt was alive.
Yeah, he would have been alive for daylight savings time. Because he died in No, he might not have been, because I think he died in, 1917?
Yeah.
It's like right around World War I, so he might have just missed it. So he lived in a world...
It started March 31st, 1918.
Yeah, so he was dead, I think, unless he died in 1919.
He died in 1919, so he knows. Yeah. So he knows better.
Yeah.
To come back to...
Yeah.
He only had 1 year's worth of experience with it, but
yeah, he didn't have much black practice.
That year and he was done.
Yeah. He's like, daylight savings time, not for me.
Yeah.
And not for
I'll survive a bullet to the chest, but I ain't waking up an hour early.
Yeah. A bull moose saves daylight for no one. And then he died.
He faded into the ether.
He didn't die, just faded. He drifted away. Anyway, Crash Bandicoot.
I'll say it was definitely fun to see this actually crop up here.
Yeah, it's a really unique idea. And Sharon Susan did send us stuff. I'm just going to go through it super quickly, and then we can get on to it. So apparently they were initially thinking of Aladdin to replace Jungle Cruise, and that sounds super weird. But I'm not against it. And then they were talking about some type of Looney Tunes ride in Toontown, which makes sense because they were teasing like universe crossovers, which is what I thought they were going for. Quickly settled on a Crash Bandicoot EMV, something which I had already proposed earlier in the season by the end of the first day, though I did tease the other two afterwards as a joke. That explains the whole New World one too. Project rolled along smoothly from there, and I didn't really have any large changes from the initial conceptualization out of the final area or the ride. Biggest thing that comes to mind is the bridge scene, but even that was already written in a week before the project was due. So, thank you very much. Dash, what were you going to say? I'm sorry for interrupting.
I was just going to say, it was neat to actually see Sharon make use of Crash Bandicoot, because back during one of the earlier stanzas, the one about designing the land in place of Diagon Alley, before Teen Time had settled in on Venice, I had actually thrown out the idea of a game-inspired land using Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, because both were Universal Studios video game properties.
And there's already precedent.
And it was neat to see Sharon take up the Crash baton in this case.
Yeah. I think 2005 is a little bit of a weird time period, because that was towards the end of Crash's relevancy. But it's still cool. I really liked it. Maybe it could have been moved back to like maybe like 2000 or like 99. But it's mostly irrelevant.
I love this idea that Crash Bandicoot wants you to drink beer, but safely.
That's like the idea of Crash Bandicoot drinking beer.
I know two things about Crash Bandicoot. I know it's a video game, and I know he looks nothing like a Bandicoot.
Yeah.
And those are the two things that I know about Crash Bandicoot. Because as we've established in the lore, I don't video game. There might be jump scares. You never know.
They stage a whatchamacallit, an intervention for Crash. Like, Crash, we don't like your drinking. We think you're an alcoholic. It's like, no.
I mean, a bandicoot is an Australian creature, so...
Yeah, and Australian creatures do drink a lot of Budweiser.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, the ride. It's a lot of fun. Another thing, you could have done it like now and worked off in the new game, because the new game has a really cool aesthetic, and I think it
does.
It really like exaggerates the aesthetic of the old games in a really good way.
Crush had that meme, right? There's a meme like in the past couple of years about him.
There's a lot of memes about him.
Is it the Whoa meme? Is that the one you're thinking
about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was big in like 2018, like the whoa.
Yeah, back when memes were good and not depressive. But yeah, so I know three things about Crash Bandicoot.
Do you know what the N stands for on Neocortex's head?
Neo?
You correct. You did it. It stands for Neo. It's his name.
Wow. Congratulations, Alex.
Mickey fan gets our prize. Everybody, yeah.
You get a new car that we don't have.
You get an N branded into your forehead. Congratulations.
These big muscly men will come and hold you down and carve it into your forehead briefly.
They're gonna carve it. Anyway,
I'm surprised you just didn't say "get 'em, boys."
Anyway, I really like this attraction. It's really cool. Yeah, I think EMV was a really interesting choice for Crash.
I definitely think this Australian animal fits really well in an Aztec.
Oh, it absolutely works. Yeah, like I would expect like a roller coaster or something, but I think an EMV is a really cool angle to take.
Yeah. That man looks like a jelly bean.
What?
His head.
Dr. Cortex?
That's Neocortex. I don't know if he looks like a jelly bean. He looks like a man. He looks like a doctor.
He did when he scrolled by.
Marshmallow.
He looks like a man with a PhD.
He looks like a kernel of corn.
He looks like a marshmallow.
Oh, okay. It's an alternate universe where Crash Bandicoot was handled competently in the 2000s.
All right, we can make up things here, but
in this universe, Crash surpassed
man looks like a jelly bean.
It's Maurice LaMarche. There he is.
He looks like a peeled banana.
Yeah, he does. That's fair. But no, this was a really cool premise. I really enjoyed
the ride. And nice variety of scenes and atmospheres that the ride uses from the games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was done really well to showcase all the locales. It's done real well.
Yep. Even getting in that real annoying bridge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that bridge. Let me tell you, I know all about that bridge.
We know you do. What's it called? What's it called, program?
It's the annoying bridge.
You're right. That's what it's called. That's what it's the level it's from.
Yeah, I know. I played all 8 Crash Bandicoot games on the Nintendo 85.
Yeah. You open up the level and it says, you're going to hate this annoying bridge.
Yeah.
And then in Crash 2, it says, that goddamn annoying bridge is back. And then it's a boss battle. You have to fight the bridge.
Yeah. I really like in the 7th game where you fall romantically in love with the bridge.
Yeah, I really like the annoying bridges arc. I think it really came around and turned out to be a really good protagonist in Crash 9. Yeah. Well, after they killed off Crash Bandicoot.
Right. It's just the bridge game at this point.
I also like the...
Okay, I'm sorry. Total jumping of topics here. But
it's okay, we don't do that.
Is changing their logo.
What? Where did this come from? Why are we talking about that? I'm looking it up.
Multitask and scroll through Twitter while you do this?
This is breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Doritos is changing their logo, and it looks like a play button. It looks like a play button.
We're not, guys. We can't talk about that. We're not sponsored by Doritos yet.
This is breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. We have sad news to report. Doritos, the chip company, is changing their logo.
It's awful.
Damn cancel culture, just ruining my Doritos.
They have a new tagline: "Press play to eat."
They're really just jumping into that, like, we are the video games food.
Yeah. Yeah. Gamers play Doritos. It's just a whiteboard, those words like bolded and circled. But anyway,
strings tied to them.
Yeah. Speaking of gamers, I also like the design of this accompanying land that goes with the attraction. In the form of Insanity Island.
Yeah, I was really glad that you did a whole original land, and I think you're other than Pi, like you're the only person who did like a proper land. Because I would consider Pi as more like a mini land, I guess. But I appreciate that. A warm welcome to Insanity Island. Yeah, it was really good. I quite enjoyed it.
All right, what's up with the obsession?
You
with
spelled the fruit wrong. They're called Wumpa fruit, not Wampa fruit. How dare you?
Oh,
Tiki,
poor Tiki.
I'm praying for you right now. Everybody, a moment of silence for our poor boy. Thank you. We'll play taps at the end of the show.
Yeah. Josh will sing taps.
He's doing it so we don't have to.
Okay. But no, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really good. Next we have T-Cool's. T-Cool sent us stuff too, right?
Yeah, I think I recall seeing T-Cool had sent in some info.
Yeah, I just need to find it. I'm a little bit behind.
Found it.
Oh, perfect. I just found it too. Dash, do you want to read it?
Sure.
Cool.
So, yeah, T-Cool's notes about this project. So, first they want to do a project based off of Raya and the Last Dragon.
Should have been super interesting.
As something that could have been added to Inventus, but they decided not to because they didn't want to risk spoilers for folks who haven't seen the movie yet. Next thought was then Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild e-ticket with Hyrule Land to replace Toon Lagoon. But they had fears that the ticket would be overshadowed by everything else.
I don't agree with that, but I understand the concern.
The attraction was going to feature one more god, Mantu, but ended up getting cut out to keep the cast down. Also, to avoid confusion with the coaster over at Busch Gardens. They had struggled with the queue/pre-show/first scene and didn't really know how best to approach it. So they decided to go with the idea of tourists are dumb, and thus to reiterate the backstory and premise a few times before the action starts.
That's probably the most realistic choice any of us took.
All the custom images and characters were hand-drawn by them, over the course of the week with the queue and ride being written in the last 3 days. The backstory would have originally wanted to go further with the Eighth Wonder Expedition Co., basically being Universal's answer to C, thanks to the Kong connection. They decided not to include it, but Confisco's Grill was going to be rethemed to the Eighth Wonder Expedition Co.'s base of operations.
I think that's something Islands of Adventure could really use. Even if it's just in the port of entry. So it's one of those parks that feel like it could use some lore.
Yeah, and finally, pretty much for all the screen portions, the vehicles would stop moving a la Spider-Man or Transformers, but it didn't come across as well as they had hoped. So that is why the scenes tended to have the amount of dialogue they had.
It's always tough writing proper show scenes like that. Yeah, because we're reading this, so it all seems more dialogue heavy than it actually is. And I think that's like the same issue with the pre-show and reiterating the story so many times. Where if you're actually there and like physically watching it, it wouldn't seem as bad as it does when you're rereading the same thing 3 times in a row. So it's just like a weird gray area. You have to.
Everyone should just build their rides.
Honestly, though, really, we need more audio.
Make it way easier.
Yeah, it's not like I don't know. It's hard to address. Usually, what I do is I just like mention that like the vehicles stop and then mention that they restarted again, to sort of show that we're standing, like we're standing and watching this scene go by, to make it a little bit more palatable and a little bit more like less confusing, I guess. It's definitely tough with such a story-heavy attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I look at this set and feel things?
It's the Brady Bunch. What things are you feeling? It depends on which one you're looking at.
Set.
Oh, it's Set. Oh, I mean, he's a big boy. He's a daddy.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Also, Anubis is just a drow, and I feel like that needs to be mentioned.
But a Pep. Look at him.
I mean, that one's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's a sneaky boy.
a giant snake, giant crabs. We're really just hitting the giant animal quota for tonight.
Yeah,
honestly, just give me this Dungeons and Dragons party, honestly.
It's not entirely furry erasure. We got Bastet right there.
Yeah.
I like that she's just a normal person who happens to be a cat.
Yeah.
Like it looks like they don't draw any attention to it. Just like a cat person.
Yeah. look, like give me this Dungeons and Dragons party. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looks like.
That's fair.
I want to see that version of the Brady Bunch.
Just all the Egyptian gods. I really appreciate the backstories. Yeah, I don't disagree that they're a little long for a project like this. I think sometimes it gets a little bogged down in the details, but sometimes you kind of have to. So like I don't blame you for it. This map is great. Yeah. I don't know what you made it in.
We do love a map.
Real good. We do love a map, correct?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
There's only one thing we love more than a map, and that's
2 maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 maps is too much.
I agree. Yeah, 3 maps is 1 too many. But 2 maps, that's the
sweet spot.
That's the threshold. Yeah, that's the sweet spot. That looks really good for MS Paint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Really good work with MS Paint.
Is it real good?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the setup. I really like the pacing of the queue. I'm glad that you did something with the Lost Continent, because boy, does it need work.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate shifting to Egyptian rather than just like vague Greek Mediterranean.
Well, you see, now it's not a lost continent anymore. It's a known.
It's a found. I mean, technically, it was found before because we're there. So already the name was wrong.
Right. It should be the found continent.
Exactly. Or like the formerly lost continent.
Right. The recently discovered by us continent. The you Westerners have just discovered this, but clearly civilization is here before you. Continent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's a family sitcom without a lot of murder?
I agree.
That was my favorite part of the Brady Bunch. Was, the murder.
How many kids died? Yeah. I really appreciate the work done to the land as a whole. The map's great. Q's great. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
The tent hall, I just picture like an ornate like exhibition hall, which is tents. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton to say about the Q, but it was fun.
It's a nicely designed queue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very well designed attraction as a whole.
Oh shit, we totally forgot about the flip book. I think we passed it. If you want to pull that up.
Oh.
I think it's towards the beginning. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah,
right there.
Yeah. This is a really nice flip book. It's a really nice story setup. I really appreciate it. I almost did something like this for my project, and I ran out of time. I just wanted to focus on just writing it. But this is really good.
But you still made the video.
Yeah, because I can make a video in like an hour, and I did.
And you did.
I did. I could have made 2 if I wanted to, but I thought 1 was too many. If I made 2, it wouldn't even have been a competition at that point.
Yeah, here's the quota. We like 2 maps, 1 video.
Yeah. That's the winning formula.
Formula.
I'm glad someone caught that.
That's the secret winning formula.
But yeah, the flip book was really great. It was a really great way to set up the attraction and the character you introduced.
It's like if Universal cared about establishing lore.
Yeah.
You could have just had Jimmy Fallon discovering Egypt for the first time.
He just keeps laughing at the gods.
Excuse you. That's white people culture, and that's appropriative.
We don't know Jimmy Fallon's background. We don't know where he's from.
Maybe
Jimmy Fallon is the whitest white man to ever white man.
The Egyptians were pretty white. The ancient Egyptians.
They were olive.
They were people. They were people.
Some of them are furries. And as we've established, those are not people.
Yeah, this is a great ride. I totally get the critique about there being a lot of dialogue, but I understand why there was so much dialogue, and I really don't think it's quite as bad as the judges did.
Yeah.
Like if you think of it from the perspective of like actually riding the ride.
Right. But it is a lot to read, and
yeah, no, absolutely. But honestly, sometimes that's good. No one does scripts ever. No. So I always appreciate it when someone does try to write out a proper script when the project calls for it. But,
yeah. It's a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, gods of Egypt, all the gods were white when he died.
Everyone knows the Egyptian gods are from England. They're all Anglo-Saxons.
Russell Crowe, he's the god of Egypt.
It's the god of my world, really.
I will say Russell Crowe going through that entire movie and just not caring is great.
Yeah.
Did anyone go through that movie and care?
I don't know.
People watching or making it. I feel like everyone was just like, yeah, this is gonna.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta sit down with the movie and think, does this make my popcorn taste better?
And so, usually, if it's the Gods of Egypt movie, yes, it does.
Yeah.
An absolute guilty pleasure movie of mine. It's so bad. It is so insensitive to everything, but I love it so dearly.
But no, it was a really good ride. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some design issues, but I don't think they were really anything like too terrible. No, nothing major. Just it happens, how it goes. But now we have the final project, and I'm surprised this has only been an hour and a half. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah. This is,
so now we have Tegan's. No, we haven't. We've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, we knew we had 8 projects to get.
I know. I have some behind the scenes stuff from her, so I'll read through it quick.
All right.
There it is. I knew for quite a while that I wanted to do a Marvel attractions, land, etc. I absolutely love Marvel and the MCU, so it only made sense to do a passion project. My thought process was that I wanted this land to treat the events of the MCU as real, which makes sense. That's why I include the Stark Memorial. It's a great touch. The land's opening date was April 27th, 2022, 3 years to the day following the United States release date of Avengers Endgame, which is April 26th, 2019. There were other details I left out of the final project, detailing the land a lot more. I knew I wanted the main event to be somehow tied to Iron Man, but I didn't want to contradict the MCU continuity. With the recent announcement of the Ironheart Disney Plus season, I had my candidate. The entire land is designed in such a way that as the story of the MCU progresses, the characters can be phased in and out, new villains can be added, new plot points can be recognized, etc. It is designed to be a place that will be able to keep up with the story of the MCU practically in real time, which is done really well. It's definitely conveyed well within the project. I really like the presentation for this project. That was really cool.
All right.
I think this is a good framing device.
Also, yeah, and like, let me just say, Tegan just killed it with all this like beautiful artwork the entire season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the work that they've done with art over the course of this whole competition has been incredible.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate her style. I think it's really, really unique.
It's cartoony, but it's realistic.
Yeah. I really like it. Yeah. I am also iffy on Tomorrowland being level for Stark Expo. But it's done aside from that, it's done really well.
Could be level.
But I don't want it to be.
I think that you could reasonably level everything from Space Mountain all the way to Small World.
All the way to
level.
All the way to what? Space Mountain to what?
Space Mountain all the way to Small World.
That's what I thought you said. Really? I don't know about that. Where does this start? Does that include Main Street USA?
Really not much there.
It includes all of Main Street, the castle. I don't know. I mean, there's enough there. It doesn't matter. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Like going around the Matterhorn.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I still like the subs. I wish it wasn't Nemo. I still like the subs. They're not fine,
but yeah.
But no, I really liked it. I think the ride was done well. Outside of the Tomorrowland leveling, I think the land was really good. I was initially kind of iffy about Ironheart because I only read one Ironheart issue and I didn't really like it, but it was also the first issue, so I mean that kind of makes sense. But,
yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, we're also talking about the MCU, and I imagine the MCU will make Ironheart really work well.
Oh, I'm sure they'll do it well. I mean, they tend to.
Yeah, because I mean, they managed to make Civil War work.
Yeah.
Debatable.
I thought Civil War's supposed to be good. I haven't read Civil War.
They made Civil War
a
movie.
Civil War was like where I was really burnt out on the Marvel movies.
Yeah. It introduces emo, and we can all appreciate that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But project's really good. Ironheart's a super unique choice, and I appreciate it for that. The ride system's interesting. I think there are better ways to do it. It's been a few days since I've read this. Do people like lay down on their stomachs during this? I know that they're in a capsule. Point being, I think if you just had it be
we just need to take a moment and admire this.
I know it's a really good graphic. Yeah, it's done really well.
Moment over.
Yeah. Also, I don't really think this ride needed to be on a track either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate that it is.
It could have been a simulator.
Yeah. But I think instead of like a capsule, it could have been like just like a helmet or even like a VR headset. I think that would have been just as fine.
Hey, look, there's the Iron Man lady.
Yeah, there she is. There's Pepper Potts trying to sell his goop. That's all. That's the gift shop. That's all that's there. Good. I really appreciate bringing Vulture back as well. I think that was a really interesting pull.
Yeah.
Because I really liked him in Spider-Man. I thought Michael Keaton was great.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Keaton's always great.
You're right. He is.
Oh, yeah. He was great as Vulture, and that was just a really good execution of that character.
Yeah, there's a lot of places you could take Vulture, and I think they did it in a really good way.
That was just a really good Spider-Man.
He's one of the few Marvel villains who doesn't die in the end.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, save the villains. Like, imagine if comics just like one issue went by and then they just murdered every villain.
I mean, it makes sense before. It made sense before they did a proper universe,
right?
Because then they wouldn't have to worry about like getting the actor again for a sequel. They did a sequel, but I like that they're keeping villains now.
Yeah.
Like even the original Mandarin, he's in jail. He's still alive technically.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin Hammer is still in prison.
Yeah, I think the only real ones that's dead is like War Machine. I think.
Oh, Ironmonger?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Ironmonger. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, because like Rhodey's going to be the focus of that Armor War show.
Yeah, no, I know. I realized what I said after that. Right after the fact. But yeah, back to the ride. I really enjoyed it. Was he killed off at the end of it? I thought they left him alive. In any event, everybody wish Pi good night. He's had a big day.
Good night, Pi.
I hope your stabbing goes well.
Yeah. Good night, Pi. Congrats on your competition again.
Yeah. Just if he's still here, congratulations. A little bit early, but congrats on winning. Very well deserved.
And I'm glad you clarified that the doctor is stabbing you and not just saying I'm getting stabbed tomorrow.
No, you should have left it open. Yeah, but back to Tegan's project. It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Ride system is super cool. The ride itself is really cool too, and I like that it can be easily updated. I appreciate that forethought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way, when they inevitably bring back Tony Stark for Avengers 20, where they all fight Galactus, they can put him in it.
Yeah, you're right. He can come back. He is the Silver Surfer. That's the big twist.
Maybe the real Iron Man was the friends we made along the way.
But if he's Silver Surfer, he truly is an Iron Man.
That's true.
It's full circle. It's poetic. It's like poetry. I have emails to make. I'll do that after the show.
Yeah, first we got to check up on Brendan Fraser, and
then I have to email Kevin Feige. So I got 2 words for you: Iron Man. And
he'll be like, I got exactly what you mean.
Do you mean the Silver Surfer is Tony Stark? Yes.
Yes.
Correct. But yeah, all these projects were really fantastic.
Yeah,
especially mine. But you know,
everyone did a phenomenal job this whole season. It was a lot of fun to sit here like an idiot and talk about dumb things.
Yeah.
With people who are far more talented than I am, and talking down on their stuff to make myself feel good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're wrong, but I appreciate the humility.
This has been More Pooh Talk Season Deuce.
Yeah. Before we leave as well,
should we cover a bit of housekeeping?
Yeah, before we do that, I just have one thing I have to talk about quick. That's not More Pooh Talk related. But right after the show is over, we're going to be posting the hype thread for So You Want to Be an Imagineer Season 19. So stay tuned for that. As soon as we go off air, I'm going to post it. I have it already. I just have to read it through it again quick to make sure everything's good to go. So signups are going to start on May 17th. So signups begin on May 17th. Game is going to be again June 4th. So the same day that the 20th anniversary celebration starts. So stay tuned for that. We have a lot of really cool stuff cooking up. Like I said, should be up as soon as the show's over. So yeah, keep an eye out. So now housekeeping stuff.
Yeah, so we are going to take a little break from More Pooh Talk, but not the way you're probably thinking. We're gonna do a few edited episodes and then test and adjust and see where we go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna try a little bit of format change. Let's switch things up, see how it goes.
So the project reviews for So You Want to Be an Imagineer will be hosted on the So You Want to Be an Imagineer channel with Tiki.
Yes,
not under the More Pooh Talk banner, but
I was just gonna say, yeah. I don't know what we're gonna call it. That's up to Tiki.
But yeah, so we will not be doing that. So we have a couple ideas. We don't want to spoil anything yet, but we'll be trying out an edited format, and I'm excited about it.
So am I. We still have that live react coming out soon, at some point.
Yeah. Hopefully, eventually.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Whenever it's done, it'll be out.
Yeah.
And then we have a big old list of possible content ideas that we're kind of throwing around. So stay tuned for more content. Just not More Pooh Talk for the time being.
Yeah.
We'll be around. Thank you, everyone, for watching and joining us on this weird fucking journey. These 5 months of shit posting.
Yeah, we really have just gone on and talked to strangers while shit posting in real life.
Some of us might even say it's been real fun.
I wouldn't. It's okay.
Yep, and in the words of the great Yakko Warner, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.